What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking and discussing a quick Lonzo Ball update and also a very big trade that happened around the NBA last night, talking about Donovan Mitchell to the Cleveland Cavaliers and what it could mean for the Chicago Bulls, considering the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the Eastern Conference and, from what many people have been saying, have gotten significantly better as a team. We're going to be talking about all these things in this video, but before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about whether or not you believe, one, Lonzo Ball will play a lot of games for the Chicago Bulls next season, and two, how far do you think Cleveland will go with this new look team or this new look addition to the team in a very good shooting guard in Donovan Mitchell? So we'll get started on the Lonzo Ball injury first and foremost, because that's what most Bulls fans would probably want to hear about. I believe this update happened a couple of days ago, but I'm bringing it to your attention today. The Lonzo Ball injury is a very interesting one, but there does seem to be a little bit more optimism that Lonzo Ball will be able to play a lot of games for the Chicago Bulls. Now, this report didn't specify whether or not that I guess he will be playing at the start of the season or not. A lot of that is relatively unknown. A lot of people still don't know if Lonzo Ball will be ready by the time the opening game happens against that Miami Heat team. No one truly knows at this point, and it's pretty much been the same all season or all off season that we've been talking about Lonzo Ball. There's not many major updates saying he absolutely will or he absolutely won't. The only person that's really said outright that Lonzo will be ready has been his father, LeVar Ball. But other than that, a lot of optimism that he could be playing a lot of games for the Chicago Bulls, which basically means even if he's not ready by the opening day, he's expected to return very quickly and early on in the regular season, which is still a very big help. Of course, I'd love Lonzo Ball to start at the start of the season. Absolutely. I want him to go through training camp. I want him to go through a preseason. I want him to go through all of these things that will be very important to start off the season and to have a good start to the season with some of our hardest games happening at the start of the season as well. But unfortunately, you can't always get everything. We're going to probably be starting off the season with injury concerns, and Lonzo Ball will be one of them. So, unfortunate there, but of course, we still have all hope left that Lonzo Ball can still be ready for the regular season. There's still a lot of hope there for me, and hopefully he'll be able to really, I guess, progress in his recovery and be able to be ready. But time will tell. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, as I said, for almost every single one of these videos now. We'll be talking about the goods and the bads. It's something that I can accept at this point in time. If Lonzo Ball is not ready by the start, I think I've accepted that already now. Hope most people have, but there's still elements of hope that he will be ready, and that will obviously make me happy. We'll move on next into the Donovan Mitchell trade, ladies and gentlemen. Now, first, we're going to give a big F in the chat for the New York Knicks, who unfortunately were not able to acquire the main man that they wanted for a very long time in Donovan Mitchell. Now, there's a lot of circulation, a lot of reasons why this potentially didn't happen, a lot of rumors happening left, right, and center. But ultimately, the main thing to focus on is that New York did not get their player that they wanted. It's very, very upsetting. It's happened to New York quite a few times at the end of the day. As a Bulls fan, I can't say I'm overly ecstatic. I feel neutral about the situation as a Bulls fan. It didn't really affect the Chicago Bulls whatsoever from the trade side of things, but it obviously has a big impact on that Eastern Conference. So we'll talk about the trade first and foremost. If you're a Cleveland fan, you must feel ecstatic about this situation. I didn't think at the end of the day you necessarily lost that trade. You got an all-star caliber, very good shooting guard in return, and you're ready to attack the season as a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. So we'll talk about the trade. Donovan Mitchell obviously goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. In return, the Utah Jazz receive Colin Sexton, former Bulls player Larry Markkinen, and Ochai Agbaji. Hopefully I said his name correctly there. That trade also comes with 3 first-round picks in 2025, 2027, 2029, alongside of 2 pick swaps in 2026 and 2028. So a very detailed trade there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if I was the Utah Jazz, to be honest, I probably thought I could get a little bit more for Donovan Mitchell. I think they got a lot more in return for Rudy Gobert, and Donovan Mitchell has the age on his side. He already has the superstar caliber player on his name. He's very much been hyped as a very, very good player, and again, a superstar level guy. So he's been hyped like that, and he's performed like that before as well. So if I was the Utah Jazz, I'm a bit worried that you could have got more, but at the end of the day, you didn't get bad things here. You got the draft picks that you probably wanted, which is the first and very important thing. They probably want the draft picks more than they want the actual players. Two of those players might not necessarily really work out for the Utah Jazz, but they also wanted to take the risk on Colin Sexton, who has returned from injury or was returning from injury. So that's big for Utah. Maybe there's a risk factor there. They paid him $4 years, $70 million, $72 million, whatever it is. That's going to be big for the Utah Jazz. And again, they're playing a big risk, and maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. They also got a couple of the other young guys from Minnesota, and obviously they got Larry Markkinen now on the Utah Jazz. As a Larry Markkinen fan, I guess, he's obviously was on the Bulls. I still support him at Cleveland. I hope he does well wherever he goes. Didn't work out for the Bulls, unfortunately, but maybe it'll work out for the Utah Jazz. Maybe that type of environment will help Larry Markkinen, because we know at his best, he's probably a 17-point per game player, probably even a 20-point per game player if you give him the right opportunities. Not the best defender, but a good three-point shooter. Very good offensively in my eyes. Wait and see what he could do with Utah and that environment, knowing that it's going to be probably a rebuilding team or a team that no one expects to really do well. But if you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, obviously, you get rid of Colin Sexton. I'm not sure how many Cleveland fans would feel about that, but the fact that you're getting Donovan Mitchell in return, a guy that was, I think, ranked as one of the top 2 shooting guards in the league. I think he was in the top 2, top 3, definitely, whatever it is. Donovan Mitchell was in that conversation, and they're getting a very good player in return. There are a couple of things that obviously we can discuss about Cleveland as well. They like to play very big last season. They played Larry Markkinen at the small forward position, and they kind of played Evan Mobley at the power forward position, Jared Allen at the center position, and that big lineup got them a lot of wins. Not many people could really match up with Cleveland and their big lineup. If you play a small ball lineup and you're versing that Cleveland team, there could very much be a long night for you. It was a very long night for a lot of times that the Bulls versus Cleveland, even though we did get a fair few amount of wins on them as well, they were very dangerous, and they got a win on us, I believe, as well. So it definitely wasn't a dominating issue between the Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We weren't dominating them. They weren't dominating us. But their whole lineup has kind of changed now. They've got better quality players in Donovan Mitchell. They recently traded for Karis LeVert as well. So they're not going to probably be playing a massive lineup. I still expected to play Mobley at power forward and Jared Allen at center. So those are two very big guys. They'll be playing bigger from the power forward and center positions. And they have guys that are fairly mobile at that position as well. So that will help them. But in terms of the guard position to the small forward position, it's going to feel relatively normal. In fact, if you're going to start Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell together, you have a relatively undersized guard partnership there. How will that work out? In my opinion, they're both great offensive players, but the weakness defensively could very much be there as well. So they've gotten better. Without a shadow of a doubt, they've absolutely gotten better. But will it be a major improvement from what they already were? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to be here trying to rain on Cleveland's parade. I'm sure they're very happy that they got Donovan Mitchell. And honestly, they didn't really have to give that much in terms of assets back to really get a player of his caliber. And I'm sure if you're hoping that they're going to be competing for a long time, if you're a Cleveland fan and you think that's going to happen and you're going to be competing, those draft picks won't necessarily really hurt you as well. But yeah, wait and see how Cleveland actually play. I think they have gotten better. I'm not sure. They're very unpredictable now. I don't really know where they're going to finish in terms of the Eastern Conference. Some say they're going to finish in the top 4. Some say they're going to fall out of the top 4. Some say they're going to be very similar. They're going to be a very different team than what we expect. So very, very unpredictable if you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. And very unpredictable for the Eastern Conference. I think with the Knicks, everybody kind of made out what Donovan Mitchell would be on the New York Knicks, what they would have to give up. A lot of people wanted that. Pretty much Cleveland got a superstar here. So it's going to be very hard to say that they haven't gotten better. I think they definitely have gotten better. The real question is, how good have they been? What does this mean for the Chicago Bulls? Well, it just means there's another team added to the fire in terms of the Eastern Conference. The Bulls are not seen as championship contenders for many people, and we have to take the next step in terms of our own development. We have to win a playoff series. We have to make it. We have to make the top 4 seeds. That's where I really feel like our progression comes from. That does not change. We still need to be that type of team. We need to be a top 4 team. We need to show a little bit more consistency. Obviously, we need to hope that there's no injury concerns, major injury concerns in the future, and let this team build together. The fact that Cleveland got a little bit stronger, the fact that Brooklyn's staying the same, the fact that Atlanta got stronger, the East looks like it's gotten stronger already compared to what it was last season. So we've got a lot more challenges to face next year in my eyes. But at the end of the day, that's always going to be said at the off-season. There will some teams that will disappoint you. There will some teams that will take major steps. And I think Cleveland's going to be one of those teams. I still expect the Bulls to have a very good fight with a team like Cleveland and teams like the Nets and teams like the Bucks. We need to learn how to beat these types of teams now. So that's our step. That's what it means for us. It just means another team has been added to the conversation of really good Eastern Conference teams, and we need to figure out how we can beat them alongside of every single other good Eastern Conference team. Are we the best Eastern Conference team? For many people, no, but that's our progression. That's how we need to figure out how to get to the next step. So if you're a Cleveland fan, congratulations. I hope I didn't rain on your parade. At the end of the day, I'm trying to be very respectful. I know Cleveland has not been a very good team for a very long time, but they made very good ground last year. Let's be honest, they have. We can't deny that. And they're getting good players in return here. They didn't have to give up Evan Mobley, who I think has been terrific for Cleveland, one of the best rookies in the NBA. And without a shadow of a doubt, they've got a good core. They've got a good core. They've got a good starting five. Balanced starting five as well. Offense in the guard positions, defense in the big positions. And you got Karis LeVert, who did come back from an injury last year. We don't really know what he's going to be either. So very, very good foundation, very good core there. We'll see what it will be. I'm excited. This makes me more excited to be part of the NBA. It makes me excited to see that in October, we're going to be figuring out all these answers. What are the Bulls going to be? What are the Cavs going to be? What are the Hawks going to be? What are the Nets going to be? Are the Nets going to make any big trades during the trade season, during that time? Because you never know. If the Nets all of a sudden have a howler of a start, things will begin to heat up again. What are Boston going to be? Are they going to return to the Eastern Conference Finals? And they're going to be that team. Philly. The list goes on. The Bucks, so many good teams, so many above average teams, the elite teams in the Eastern Conference, the above average teams in the Eastern Conference, and the good to mediocre teams in the Eastern Conference. I really think it's going to be a challenge for the entire East. I don't think it's going to be an easy ride. I don't think there's going to be one team that's going to be dominating the pack and the rest of them are going to be nothing or not even close. Maybe that's going to be like that in the West, I don't know. But in the East, I really feel like there's a lot of competition here. So I'm excited. And of course, you want to verse the best of the best teams. You want to prove your worth to the best of the best teams. That's something the Bulls have to do now. And I'm excited for it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I went a bit of a tangent there, ladies and gentlemen. But at the end of the day, big news like this, big trades like this, you just don't know what their outcomes will be. I'm very excited to see how the operating system will work with Cleveland. I'm very excited to see if that undersized lineup for the guard positions will play a factor defensively, or will their offense just really carry the load? Because Garland is an all-star, Mitchell is an all-star. They're both great players, and great players tend to find ways to work well together as well. So I'm excited for Cleveland. I'm obviously more excited for the Bulls, of course, and I believe we can still beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, but there's going to be a few games where time will tell. We will verse Cleveland very soon, I believe, as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.